call this meeting to order.
new version of my car that I
August 3rd,
hated.
2016, the Falmouth Conservation Commission. Before we start, electronic devices or cell phones, if you silence them, turn them off, greatly appreciated. If you're here to speak on any of the applications, and we encourage you to do so, we just ask you to take the podium, give your name for the recording secretary, which I don't see Susan tonight.
No, I think Susan said she wasn't going to be here. I know she asked Kathy to find a replacement. I guess Kathy did not have any success in that. So
Still, for the record, because we're being filmed by Falmouth Community Television, so speak into the microphone. If you leave the stand for some reason, take the mic with you. Okay, first up is minutes of July 18th. That's 3 p.m. That was what is the condition meeting?
I read those and I found them to be correct. I just had one correction on page 4 where it states, it starts at page 3, then last week he stated he wasn't in a position to say any more, and I said he actually, I think, said he was not qualified. But I would check the tape on that. Other than that,
Okay.
I found everything fine.
I have two small things.
you can just give them to me. I'll have Courtney check the tape and make the minutes corrections for Susan.
It says that the COCs were denied, they're really OOCs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have a motion by Maury, second. Second by Jamie. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Next up is July 20th. And I haven't read those.
Was that the morning meeting?
No. Did we have a morning meeting?
I don't know. Was that
No,
the one I wasn't
20th,
at?
no.
No,
The 18th was the Monday night,
The Monday
Monday
afternoon?
afternoon.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday would have been the 20th, right?
Okay, I was not here.
yeah, I was not here.
So you don't have a quorum to
Don't have
vote
a
them
quorum,
in,
we'll
so you'll have to do
continue
it next
July
week.
20th,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
That's okay. All right. Next up is request for determination of applicability. Bernadette Levesque, 4 Pond Road, Falmouth, Mass., for permission to control invasive vines and shrubs by hand, install a gate within the existing chain link fence, remove 2 trees growing against garage, and remove yew tree and install a tupelo tree. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Courtney and a second by Maury. Any other discussion from the commission? Questions? Comments or questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Eric Roth, 11 Wampum Road, East Falmouth, Mass., with permission to construct a freestanding canoe rack. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the bylaw and -3 under the state with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got the Mary, second by Maury. Any other comments, questions from the commission? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Barbara Meisner, 19 Clinton Ave, Falmouth, Mass., with permission to pump, fill, and abandon the existing cesspool and install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, -2 under the state and the bylaw.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Courtney, second by Mary. Any comments, questions from the commission? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Charles Breen, 18 Spartina Place, North Falmouth, Mass., with permission to vista prune in accordance with the Falmouth Wetlands regulations. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Courtney, second by Mary. Any other comments, questions from the commission? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Request to amend the existing order of conditions. Andrus and Joanne Joan, thank you. Spolaris, 78 Scribnocket Drive, East Falmouth, Mass. Request to amend the existing order of conditions, DEP 25-3466, to modify special condition number 9, which states that the cedar trees shall be hand delivered to the site of installation, no machines, and all holes dug by hand. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll hold any of my comments until after Attorney Wall's presentation.
Please, Mr. Wall.
Good evening, Mr. Robbins. For the record, my name is Brian Wall. I'm an attorney. I represent Mr. and Mrs. Andreas. He goes by Andy Spolaris. And I'm here tonight with Mr. Borselli from Falmouth Engineering. Mr. and Mrs. Spolaris own property at 78 Squidnocket Road. They have a order of conditions that authorizes them to construct a single-family home with a denitrifying septic system and other appurtenances. The order of conditions requires several cedar trees to be installed as part of the mitigation that was proposed when we were, before you were applying for the permit. When the order of conditions was issued, some language was attached to it in condition number 9, special condition number 9, that states that the cedar trees must be dug by hand and delivered to the site with no machines being used in the installation, and that the holes must be dug by hand. And what I as an attorney and what Mr. Borselli as an engineer did not realize is that trees that are 4 inches in diameter at the trunk actually weigh about 1,400 to 1,800 pounds. And the site that we're dealing with is a rather steep slope that has a body of water at the bottom. So when the contractor, who is now involved in this process, went to figure out how to implement it, he realized that it just wasn't going to be possible to do by hand. And so we're before you tonight asking for a modification of that specific provision. And we have several different proposals to make to you. They're all in the letter that I submitted. The first would be to install the trees by a skid steer, and forgive me, I'm not a technician in the field. It's all outlined in the letter, and I got the information from the contractor that would be providing the trees. Basically, they would like to use a rubber track excavator and a skid steer to put the trees in place. Another alternative, slightly more expensive but less impact on the environment, would be to use a crane that would be parked at the road, and that would lower the tree by boom, and the holes would be dug by hand. 2 other alternatives are to use the excavator that will be on site for the foundation and the backfilling. Basically, the limit of work that was allowed by the commission is very close. Excuse me, is very close to where the trees need to go. And we believe that if the excavator remaining inside the limit of work could just use its boom, I guess for lack of a better word, to pick up the tree and lower it down onto the particular site. Finally, we would suggest that if we could have smaller trees, but twice as many, then it could actually be done by hand. So we're just asking for some common sense relief from this condition of hand-dug holes, hand-installed trees.
Fair enough. Jen?
I don't have any comments. I mean, the board can do, either allow for the machine to install the trees or do the smaller. It's really up to you.
Is it going to create a problem putting the smaller trees in, or is there enough room?
Let me see the
Yeah,
plan
I
on
know,
that one.
that's what I'm-
We have the plan here, and Mr. Robbins, that's an excellent question because, and Jen may recall this, when we were proposing this mitigation,
Take the easel again?
one of the issues that when we were proposing this mitigation is that it was a vacant lot, and there was a concern about disturbing an area that was already natural, and whether we should do it at all. But we were kind of squeezed into the position because this is a variance and we had to propose mitigation for the activities. The other concern was whether there's enough room. And so let's look at the plan and
Yeah,
figure it out.
Mike, what's the date on that?
There's a lot of revisions.
Yeah.
Russ?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yesterday.
One other concern, and before we get into the methodology, because I agree with you, I think there's a way to do this, and obviously it has to be done before the house is constructed.
Mike, give a scale on you. I left mine
Well,
downstairs.
the
I'm
foundation.
not sure which way I'm going on this in terms of whether you do more trees or you use a crane or whatever.
Rather do a machine.
Clearly, what you're suggesting requires a practical solution. One question though I have is, once the trees go in, what provision do you have to make sure that they're watered?
Courtney, it's a very good point, because I don't know if we're formally in a drought condition or not, but from what I understand, the size of the trees that are proposed, it's going to be difficult to make them survive, or allow them to survive during this period. The contractor actually contacted the water department and got permission to put, again, forgive my lack of technical terms, but a splice into the line. And temporary meter. And so we have water at the site, and we are able to water the trees.
Okay.
And a lot of times the tree guys will bring their tree trucks, their spray trucks, and they just dump water on them. So water's not a big issue.
Brian, you have like, in the area where the trees are, it's like around 70 feet wide in that area. You get 7 trees, they're cedars, you usually want them 8 to 10 feet on center.
Okay.
Because you don't want to crowd them out, and like you said, it's a vegetated site anyway. So I'm thinking we might want to stay with the larger trees,
Yeah.
just so you don't have an overcrowding issue there.
Okay. And again, we're not asking for any relief.
No, I know.
Tree requirement.
No,
just
I know.
have it,
I'm just
that's
saying,
all.
like, you
Yeah.
threw out some options, that
Okay.
that's why I wanted to measure.
Sure.
So that's gonna take the smaller ones right out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're looking at just
So
having
either
either the
crane
crane
or
or thing. I think honestly, if the board wants to allow a mechanical method of getting the trees onto the site, that's fine, and then let the homeowner and the contractor choose what method they want to use. Instead of, how's that, Brian?
That would be ideal.
You know, just allow us to, you know, let us know what method you ultimately decide on using.
Of the method specified in
Yeah.
the letter?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be
You
very.
know, and we'll leave it up to you. We're not gonna make that determination.
Is there,
Do you have anything there?
No, I'm fine with that suggestion.
Jamie?
Should the limit of work be manipulated? I
That's,
can't see an excavator reaching that far on this side of the work limit. Do you disagree?
I agree with you on that they need to maybe put a second limit of work up.
Second limit of work down that slope.
Just,
I mean,
you know,
they're
just
gonna
so
do it in
this,
succession, but
Right.
I just don't see it, I mean, you need a pretty big excavator to reach that far, practically.
Well, from the limit of work
The farthest one I'm talking.
to the farthest one, I think
Is
is about 25 feet.
25 feet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's, it's not practical.
You're not gonna get a.
No, I-
Weight, too.
I-
Right.
I mean,
So all I'm saying is, suggesting is that the limit of work be allowed
Put
to
it-
be manipulated for
Put a
that.
jog in it so that you
Wrap it
can,
around the tree,
yeah,
and it's only to get there to put the tree in,
Yeah.
then we can put it back.
Because you're gonna do all these, I mean, straight line on your way out,
Right,
so it,
yeah.
Work on your way. That's
Yeah.
fine.
yeah, you're gonna back your way out.
Yeah.
yeah.
That works.
In my mind, I think I would have concerns about the reach on an excavator. I think the crane makes the most sense. Because if you got the reach, you got the boom,
Well,
and drop it right
cranes
there.
drop them better.
the crane's only gonna deliver it.
yeah,
I mean, it's
you still gotta get it in
not
and dig them
practical
out.
to dig that big a hole by hand, 3 of them.
They're gonna
Well, all of
basically
them.
dig a trench,
Yeah,
almost. I mean, they're gonna dig down, put one in, dig back,
I mean, I can't see it being,
Backfill, dig back.
backfill dig,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like just leaving it up to
Yeah,
them.
I do too, and I really think the most important thing is the limit of work, that it's really beefed up, and that you look at weather, because if you're gonna get torrential rain there, you know, we're gonna get a 4-inch
Yeah, 'cause it's
nor'easter or
pretty steep.
something, that you were prepared for it. That would be, I agree with Jamie on that.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be.
Well, and the
site
the
management's
landscaper,
gonna have to
the
be
site
important
manager
in that.
is gonna be huge.
Yeah.
I'll say one other minor comment. Could we ask you to protect that oak tree a little better? Or protect it, period? I don't know if it's an oak or a maple. On the right side?
I'm sorry.
Down in the path
Down
there,
the
is that where it
path.
says?
There's one
four-foot
like-
path, Jamie?
Yeah,
It's.
15-inch oak to remain.
15
Yeah, there's one over
Oh, yeah,
here
I see a
too.
15-inch oak.
This isn't really the,
Okay, I can relay that to the general contractor.
Maybe
You
just
can wrap it in snow fence or something.
orange snow.
Orange
really
snow fence.
vulnerable.
Cool.
2x4s away from it, so they're not,
Okay.
Okay,
anything
close
else?
and
I'm good, thank you.
take it under advisement.
Yep, close the hearing, take it under advisement.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second, take the hearing under advisement, close the hearing, take it under advisement. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Comments, questions from the public? Go ahead, Mike.
I just wanted to ask if, it's not a big elaborate order, is this something that could be processed in a time period less than 21 days? I'm just hopeful that it can be.
We can try to get it next week.
Next week?
I don't want to put pressure on you because I know you have a lot to do, but it would be helpful to the project. Thank you.
Fair enough. All right, anything else from the public? You all set, Mr. Moore?
No, thank you very much for your time.
Yep. Good luck.
I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Thank you. All right, next is continued enforcement issues. Moses and Rita Avakian?
Correct.
Yeah?
Correct.
Oh, geez. 50 Colonial Way, Falmouth, Mass. For clearing, altering wetland resources in the buffer resource area as defined in FWR 10.00 and 310 CMR 10.00.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you saw this last week, the week before. It's a little vernal pool in front of their property. They had some tree work done, which means they had some trees removed. I did go out there and meet with them. There's a couple of issues at play here, so just bear with me 1 second. Ultimately, I'm gonna say vote the enforcement order. I informed them that that's what you have to do to follow your process. So basically, I would suggest issuing an enforcement order to have the tree and basically the biomass replaced, because there were some substantial trees that came down. But there's another thing going on. Basically, their driveway is pea stone, and it's slumping into the vernal pool area or the depression, and it's all pea stone. So I mean, you just go right into it. So they wanted to fill that area to try to flatten it out. I told them that they needed to consult basically with an engineer on what's the best way to do that. Either pull the pea stone up, jute mat it, plant it, stabilize that slope, put maybe a one post and rail kind of fence along that to delineate it. They could do a wall, which would be a lot more expensive, or depending on where that vernal pool boundary is, they may be able just to fill it in slightly where there are some big boulders and kind of soften the slope.
Plant it up maybe.
And plant it. So when we write the enforcement order, we're gonna allow them to come in when the restoration plan with that work, because I mean, you've got all that pea stone going right in.
So
There's also like a weird drainage pipe coming out, so
that's
they
what I
wanted,
thought. I
yeah.
was gonna ask you if
It's
that
from
was
the
meant
town.
for
I honestly
Is that the
looked
town or
at
is
the,
that private
Private.
it's odd though, so I looked, let's see if I can do this. So their house, I'm the world's worst artist, so bear with me. Here's the
development? I don't care
depression.
about that, as long as
The,
you rate those good orders.
there's a manhole right here. So one would think, looking at the town's drainage map, that the pipe comes out here. I couldn't find it, although it's completely overgrown and I didn't want to like fall in. There's another pipe that comes out here, but there's no manhole over here anywhere. So what I'm gonna have them do is told them I would give them the town engineer and Scott's name, and they can consult with the engineering department on whatever drainage issues, because I don't know where that pipe, because I can't see how it goes like this and then jogs, just makes
Oh,
a
quicker.
90-degree angle like that. I just don't know how it,
According.
and we walked all around looking for it, and I couldn't figure out where that pipe was coming from. So
Right.
they have to consult with the town.
Where the driveway is slumping,
Yeah.
do you know what the soils are underneath it?
No, it's all pea stone. I don't know what the soils are underneath the pea stone, but it's really thick pea stone. I don't know why
Yeah.
anybody would have put that in that type of driveway
I mean,
situation,
I think
but,
that's, an engineer's gonna need to,
yeah, and that's
do
gonna be
all
part of
that.
the enforcement order. I mean, your enforcement order is gonna have to delineate the boundaries, get an engineer to survey the site, come up with a restoration plan to deal with the tree issue, and then kind of incorporate that driveway issue at the same
Yeah, so
time.
he's gonna need to do.
So it'll be a notice, probably a notice in front of you to deal with
We're
that.
gonna need to do test borings.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, the town did do a lot of work on Quaker and Colonial about 7-10 years ago. And when you're going down Quaker just before you go on Colonial, they did a whole bunch of work, and where Sergeant McManus is, they put in a bunch of drainage ditches there and some swales. It was a big mess over there.
It's kind of odd, because one would think that where the manhole is on this side of the
road,
property,
yeah.
you would think that the pipe is right there, but they have this large like metal corrugated pipe coming straight out this way. It's strange.
It is strange, and I think the engineering department definitely has to get on board with that, because
But
that
see, I
was-
don't know if Colonial Road's a private road or a public road, so I told them that they needed to for the drainage issue part, they need to contact the engineering department. That's not us.
Yeah.
So,
What's across the street?
there's nothing over there either. We
Nothing
looked.
over there,
No,
no
because I
swale or
parked,
anything
no.
like that, so that corrugated
When
isn't
they-
running across.
No,
the
I
street.
looked over
It
there.
was when they repaved Quaker, they really did some
Russell, I
weird
went, I
stuff
looked
in
under
there.
my car, I moved my car, there's nothing over there.
Wow.
And I can't see how the pipe would come down and jog 90 degrees, and I just don't see how I can't figure out where it came from.
Well, sometimes they make a relief setup, you know?
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't
want
know.
to
So
cross
that's
it.
why they're gonna
Just go
contact
straight
that.
across the
So
street,
anyway, I did meet on site with
Niagara
them. I
Falls.
did tell them I would write them an email explaining all that. I wasn't able to do that. I was up against a couple of deadlines that last week, Russell,
Yeah.
and this week. So, I did speak with Mrs. Arvikian today and just let her know I said, this is what I recommend, because they don't want to have to come back for another meeting before you. So I said, I'm going to recommend that they vote the enforcement, and then we can get the process moving for them.
That's fair.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm good.
You need a motion?
Yeah, I need a motion to issue the enforcement
I
order,
make a
as
motion
discussed.
to issue an enforcement order.
Second.
We have a motion by Maury and a second by Courtney to issue the enforcement order. Any other comments or questions? Comments, questions from the public? Okay, here are none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous. Next up is Edward P. Strout, 215 Sipawissa Road, Cape Cod Road, map 36-08-002-00077. And Cape Cod Road, map 36-08-003-078, Falmouth, Mass. For clearing and altering wetland resource area in buffer to resource areas defined in FWR 10.00 and 310 CMR 10.00. Jen?
Do you want to open both of them simultaneously?
Yes.
Okay.
So, the second one is Strout Family Trust, care of Edward P. Strout, trustee, Sipawissa Road, map 36-11-002-076, Falmouth, Mass. For clearing, altering wetland resource area and in a buffer to a resource area as defined in FWR 10.10 and 310 CMR 10.0. Jeff?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we did receive correspondence from Bob Ament, Attorney Ament, and they are requesting basically a 6-week continuance. They're trying to do the delineations, and they're working now with the son. So basically, I think Edward Strout is the owner of 215, and then he's one of the trustees, if I have that right, of the second one. So we'll be working with the son now, I believe, and they've already hired Dave Martin's company to look at the delineations, so we are working through that process. So I would suggest doing a 6-week continuance, and I think that's till September. I'm not even gonna guess, I looked at it before I came up here, it's like the second week in September. So,
But just call it 6 weeks.
yeah, call it 6 weeks from today.
So is this at the request of you or the applicant?
That's at the request of the applicant.
Okay, at the request of the applicant, that we continue this to a 6-week out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact date, but
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Maury and a second by Mary. Courtney, you have something else? You
No
good?
comment.
Jamie, you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. No other comments, questions? No questions from the public? Hearing Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Other business. Patricia McAlarney for permission to hold a wedding at the Bartholomew Conservation Area on Saturday, October 1st, 2016 at 5:30 PM. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you have the email in front of you. The request is to hold a wedding at the Bartholomew Conservation Area. You have approved weddings, small weddings at conservation areas prior, so I don't see how this would be any different. We are going to have Patty get a hold of also the Board of Selectmen's office, just so they're aware that there'll be,
My only question.
they may request that they go before them, but at least we'll have our recommendation done. So I recommend you approve the request.
I make a recommendation that we approve the request of Patty McAlarney to have the wedding at the Bartholomew property.
Okay, motion by Lauren.
Second.
Second by Mary. Any other comments or questions? Comments or questions? Hearing none. Comments or questions from the public? Hearing none. Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. So are you here for anything in particular?
Yes, 78 Squibnaka Drive.
78 Squibnaka, we've already done that.
Polaris.
Oh, you have done?
Polaris,
Yes,
yes, we got.
Polaris?
Okay,
You win.
it's too late then.
Yeah, the outcome was that they're going to put the big trees in. They're gonna have to put a new limit of work in order to accommodate it. And
The methodology would be up to, how do we do that? The owner of the property, is that what we do?
Yeah,
and the contractor.
Yeah.
subject to our approval.
You can't,
Can I ask a question, or?
We close the hearing.
you close the hearing, sir. You can give my office a call tomorrow morning and I can answer any question you have, okay?
Okay, all right, that's fair. Thank you.
Not a problem.
We're not usually this fast.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Motion adjourned by Mary, second by Murray. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous.